So if you're a beginner home bartender and you've already made at least one cocktail or perhaps even a few different cocktails over these past few days, weeks, or even months as a beginner home bartender, and you really want to build out your bar and really to expand your collection of alcohol, syrups, juices, bitters, sodas, all these different types of ingredients, then this is the correct video for you. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ron Verpin. I'm a full-time medical doctor and I've been a home bartender for about 6 years now. During that time, I've learned how to make over 150 different cocktails and I've thrown over 60 cocktail parties. And I teach other busy professionals how to make cocktails at home. And in this video, we're gonna be going over how to really expand your home bar now that you've already made one cocktail or perhaps even a few cocktails. And I think the smartest way to do this is the smartest way to make your first cocktail is to pick a cocktail and just buy the ingredients for those cocktails. Really narrow but sustainable approach to getting your ingredients for that first cocktail. And now when it comes to making your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th cocktail, I think the smartest way to do this is to look at what ingredients you already have and find a cocktail where the ingredients have a lot of overlap with the cocktail that you already made as your first cocktail. For example, if your first cocktail is the daiquiri, that means you already have rum, lime juice, and simple syrup. For your second cocktail, you want to have some cocktail that has at least one or perhaps even two of those different ingredients in those cocktails. A great second cocktail to make if your first is a daiquiri, a great second cocktail is the gin gimlet. Gin gimlet also uses lime juice, also uses simple syrup. The difference here is that we're swapping the rum for gin. So when you go out to the liquor store, all you have to do is buy gin. You don't have to buy any other ingredients and you have a completely different cocktail. Then when it comes to making your third cocktail, you can go ahead and you already have rum, gin, lime juice, simple syrup. If you want your third cocktail, you can keep the gin, change the other ingredients. You can buy something like sweet vermouth and Campari, and then you have the Negroni. So you're finding some overlap between at least one or two of the different ingredients in your different cocktails, and that's how you build out your bar. This is exactly the way that I did it in 2020 when I was living in upstate New York and I was doing my medical residency and also being a home bartender at the time. This is how I built out my bar. I started with absolutely nothing. By the peak of my home bar at that time, some point in like mid to late 2022, I had about 40 different bottles of alcohol in my apartment. On top of that, I also had probably like 6 different bitters, 5 different syrups, 4 to 5 different juices, a couple different sodas. I had beers, wines, all these different ingredients throughout my fridge, throughout my pantry, throughout my kitchen. And I built it from zero all the way up, and that's the way I did it. I always found some overlap between the cocktail I was gonna make next and the cocktails and the ingredients that I already had made in the past. And in 2023, I moved across country to my hometown of Las Vegas, where I currently live, to this exact apartment that I'm filming in right now. And again, I started with pretty much zero, and I built that bar up the same way as I did back then. I would find a cocktail and just buy the ingredients for that cocktail, and then do the same thing for the next cocktail, but try to have some overlap so I wasn't going out and breaking the bank and buying all these different new ingredients. And when I built up my bar, and especially when I started this channel in 2025 in April, that's when I really had to expand my home bar as well, because I was filming a lot of tutorial videos showing you guys how to make specific cocktails, things like that. And that's the exact way that I did at the time. I always tried to find some overlap between the cocktails I wanted to make and the ingredients that I already had from the cocktails that I had made in the past. That's the real sustainable way to go. Before we close out this video, I can give you guys another example. Let's say your first cocktail is the martini. Martini, you have gin, you have dry vermouth, and then you have orange bitter, something like that. For your next cocktail, I think you can just keep a lot of those ingredients the same and just swap out a few different things. So you can go, one route would be just to keep the gin the same, swap out the other ingredients. You can go ahead and buy lemon juice, and then you can go ahead and buy honey and make honey syrup. And with the gin, lemon juice, honey syrup, then you have bee's knees. Then for your third cocktail, you can keep the lemon juice and the honey syrup the same, swap out the gin for a bottle of bourbon, and there you have the Gold Rush. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to, maybe keep the bitters or the dry vermouth the same and try to find something else. You can even keep the gin and the dry vermouth the same and do a split base with sweet vermouth. And there you have, what people sometimes call the perfect martini, where you split the base on sweet and dry vermouth instead of doing just dry vermouth. You can also keep the dry vermouth and orange bitters the same, swap the gin for vodka, and there you go from a gin martini to a vodka martini, completely different cocktail, although they're both called martinis. So that's another way you could do it. So you can keep a lot of the same ingredients in common when you're doing different things. A third example would be, let's say your absolute favorite cocktail is the Moscow Mule. You go out and buy vodka, ginger beer, and lime juice. There you can make the Moscow Mule. All you have to do is swap out the vodka for rum. There you have a rum buck. That's one way you can go. You can also keep the vodka the same. You can go back the martini route. You can buy dry vermouth and orange bitters, go make a vodka martini. You could buy lemon juice, Cointreau, simple syrup, and make something like the lemon drop. So a lot of different ways you can go. It just really depends on what ingredient you go from. That's how you create all these different branches. And that's how I keep a lot of recipes in my head. I didn't really plan any of those different examples I gave out for this video, all from the top of my cuff. But because I've been home bartending for 6 years now, I've learned all these different recipes. That's how I keep a lot of them straight in my head. I think of this approach. What are the different common ingredients between all these different cocktails? What are the different families all these different cocktails fall into? And that's how I can see the overlap. I've done this before too. Like I said, two different times in the past 6 years, I've built my home bar the exact same way. I started with one cocktail. Then when I was making that progression like you guys are right now to your second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th cocktail, that's when you have to find some overlap. Otherwise, every time you're going to be going to the liquor store, you're going to be disorganized. You're going to be you're going to be breaking the bank and spending tons of money on these different cocktail ingredients and things like that. This is how you can do it sustainably. This is how you can do it more organically. This is the correct way I think you guys should build out your home bar. Because that's the exact way. I wouldn't teach you guys any advice that I didn't follow. This is the exact way that I built up my home bar in 2020, and then again in 2023 when I moved across the country and had to build my bar up again from scratch. So I've done this 2 different times in the past 6 years. So I practice what I preach. I'm not teaching you guys anything that I don't swear by. This is the exact strategy that I used to build out my home bar. I think you guys can follow that strategy and build out your home bars as well. Anyways, that's all the advice I have for this video. If you found the advice in this video helpful, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I like to do 2 styles of videos on this channel. The first will be a tutorial where I show you guys how to make a specific cocktail. And the second style video will be like this one where it's talking head style. I answer questions on different bartending topics, go over different tips and tricks, share things from my own journey, things like that I hope will help you guys become better home bartenders. And if you found all the advice in this video helpful, I actually have a paid community on school.com if you want to take home bartending even more seriously. That'll be the first link in the description below. Thank you. Cheers.